This is Roger, iGadget Geek. Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new AT&T Samsung Galaxy S5. But before we dive in, let me go ahead and run through the cost and the specs of this phone. Now this is, of course, the brand new S5. It should be available in about 4 different colors from Samsung. At the current time, AT&T shows the black and white colors available. Now you can purchase this on a 2-year contract for $199 or on their AT&T Next installment plan with nothing down. If you choose the 18-month option, it's $25 a month. So basically you make $25 a month payments for 26 months, but after 18 months you can turn this in on a new phone. Now the other option is a 12-month plan. Now basically you make 20 payments of $32.50 for 20 months, and then after 12 months you can trade this in on a new phone. Now this of course has a 16 megapixel rear camera that does record video in 1080p. It has a 2 megapixel forward facing camera. It has a 2800 milliamp hour battery. It is a 5.1 inch display at a full 1920 by 1080p. It has a 2.5 gigahertz quad-core processor with 2 gigs of RAM. Now this model has 16 gigs of storage. So what I'm going to do now is reposition my camera. I'm going to go ahead and walk you around the phone itself. Now as you can see right here, I actually have the Galaxy S5 taken apart, so you can see this 2800 milliamp hour battery. It does have NFC built into the battery. You have your rear battery cover. And it has this kind of nice, kind of a rubbery, soft touch finish with these little dimples. And you can see you have the Galaxy S5 logo here at the bottom and a nice little AT&T globe. Not a whole lot of branding on this device as far as AT&T goes, just the actual little globe. Now the device itself, as you can see, we have our location here for our SIM card or micro SD card. I have a 64 gig micro SD card in there, and of course my SIM card. Now we do have some ports here on the back, and I assume these are for different types of probably some wireless charging or some NFC sensors or something. Now you have your speaker right here. So let's go ahead and get this together. We'll stick our battery in. Now one thing I want to mention on this back battery cover, as you can see here, there's actually a seal all the way around the battery compartment. What that does is it actually makes the Galaxy S5 waterproof. Now this is completely submergible up to 3 feet as long as you have all your ports and your back battery cover here is pushed on correctly. So you definitely want to take your time whenever removing or replacing this battery door to make sure you have everything snapped in so that you retain your waterproof. Now right here at the very bottom you have your opening for your USB 3, as you can see, and right here, I'm going to try to catch it on camera, there's a little rubber seal around this door as well, so make sure this is seated, and that helps you to be waterproof. So as it is right here, you can actually take this phone and submerge it in 3 feet of water, and it is dust-proof and waterproof. Now this isn't going to be, you know, a shock-proof phone or a military grade, because you still have a nice kind of chrome bezel here, but it is going to be waterproof. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and let's turn this on and let it boot up. Now, as you can see, here's the Samsung Galaxy S5 powered by Android. So a little bit different splash screen than what we've seen in the past. We'll go ahead and let it boot up here, and I'll kind of give you guys an idea of the boot sequence. And then of course now we're into the AT&T that we've seen before. As you can see, it's pretty quick to boot up, and there we are up and running. Before we dive right in, I want to kind of give you a walk around. Now on the very bottom, you have a main microphone and of course our sync charge, which is USB 3. Now on this side here, you have your power and your sleep wake button. On the very top, you have your headphone jack, your IR blaster, and a secondary mic. On this side here, you just have your volume rocker. On the very back, of course, you have your 16 megapixel camera, your flash, and this is what is used to give you your heart rate monitor, and we'll go over that here in a few minutes. And then right down here is your main rear speaker. Now on the very front, you have your home button, and it is also not just a home button, it is a fingerprint scanner. You have your basically your multi-switcher, and then you have your back arrow. Here we have our clock, temperature, and at the very top we have our forward-facing camera, and of course speaker and all of our other sensors. So let's go ahead and dive right on into this phone, and we'll take a look at the software itself. Alright, so I've kind of repositioned my camera to give you guys a really good bird's eye view of the actual software, but before we do that, I want to kind of show you here a size comparison with the Galaxy S4. So you can see I have a blue Galaxy S4 here, and here is the Galaxy S5. So let's kind of get these to line up here. So as you can see, the Galaxy S5 is about the same thickness, but it's a little bit taller and a little bit wider. So that kind of gives you a size comparison here between the Galaxy S5 and the Galaxy S4. Let's go ahead and set that S4 to the side. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right on into the software. As you can see, here's our lock screen. We have a quick shortcut to the camera. We have our clock and our temperature. And if you slide this down, you have access to your quick buttons. So let's go ahead and slide this up out of the way. And let's go ahead and unlock it. Now basically what I want to do first is we're going to go ahead and look at the specs. So let's go right on over here to the actual settings here. Let's scroll all the way down here to About Device. Alright, so we've got our software update, our status, and if you look right here, this is running Android 4.4.2. So that kind of gives you an idea there. Now right out of the box, as we mentioned, we have all of our Google applications right here that we've come to see and expect on most new Android phones. We also have quite a bit of AT&T applications pre-installed. As you can see here, these are all of the AT&T pre-installed applications. Now we also have quite a few S apps. So here's some of the Samsung apps that I put in a folder just to kind of give you an idea. Of course, we have the remote that we've seen. If you had an S4 or Note 3, you've seen the remote. This also has a new updated version of the remote. You have the S Voice, S Health, and all of those features that we've come to see. Now one of the cool features on S Health, I'm going to go ahead and pick it up here. If we go right in here to this widget and go into S Health, we've got our pedometer, but we also have heart rate. So I'm going to select heart rate, and I'm going to place my finger over that heart rate sensor on the very back. And as you can see, we're at 95 beats a minute. So it's kind of cool, neat little feature here with this heart rate monitor. So that is all pretty neat. Let's go ahead and talk about the home button layout here, because it has changed for the S5. No longer do you have menu, home, and back. You have your multi-switcher, your home, and your back. So if you press the multi-switcher, you're presented here with all your open applications, and you can go straight into Task Manager. It'll show you what's open, how much RAM you're using. Then of course you have your back button. Now if you press and hold the home button, it will launch Google Now. Now this also has a feature, as you can see right here, you can say, okay Google, what is the circumference of the moon? And it'll go right into that without you having to actually touch anything. So that's pretty nice that you have that integration here, of course, with KitKat. Now also with this, we have some pretty cool other features. Let's go ahead and talk about the actual lock screen itself. Now right here you have your lock screen. Now I don't have an actual lock or anything engaged, but if you come up here to your settings, and we'll go up here to lock screen. Now what you can do is we have it on swipe right now, so let's go ahead and turn on the fingerprint scanner. So now it's turned on, so let's scroll down here to our fingerprint scanner itself, and we'll program a finger here for you. Okay, there's our fingerprint scanner. Now I've already programmed that finger. As you can see, it's recognized it. So once you go through the steps and you program a finger, once you come to unlock it, you just place your finger there and it's going to unlock the phone for you. So if that is something that's important to you, I personally don't use a PIN or anything like that, but a lot of people I know do use PIN codes. The only drawback to it is you have to be straight on. So you have to draw your finger straight down that home button. So if it's locked and you go and you're doing it with one hand, it's really awkward to try to get your hand in there and scan that with one hand. It won't recognize it. You have to be straight on to scan that fingerprint. As you can see, once you're straight on, it does it no problem. So that is one thing that I've noticed. To be aware, you do have to be straight on to that home button. So it does make it a little bit less convenient if you're wanting to try to operate it with one hand. Now let's go ahead and talk about the camera. It is a 16 megapixel camera. So you definitely have, take some great photos with this camera. One of the other nice features, you have all of the settings you've come to see with the Samsung camera. You have all of your different camera modes, your picture size, and everything like that. Now, as I mentioned, this is a 16 megapixel, and it will record video in 1080p. You, of course, have HDR, auto flash, auto stabilization. A lot of those features we've come to see and expect from Samsung. Now, one of the other cool features I do like is the weather widget. The weather widget. So you can see if you touch on it, it's going to take you into kind of an expanded forecast, and I'll go ahead and update for you. Now, where it is here, it's actually raining right now. So as you can see, it has a nice animation of the rain. It's going to give me my extended forecast and then the full forecast for today. So I do like that. You get a little bit of an animation here on the actual widget itself. So every now and again, you can see the little storm cloud will move and it'll rain. So that's pretty cool. Of course, you have that nice Google Now integration. Now, up here at the very top, you have your quick buttons. They've changed the look a little bit, but they still function the same. We can come right over here, have all of our quick buttons. We can hit the pencil, and you can actually adjust and move around the order of which these will show on your drop-down notification menu. So that's a pretty nice feature that you get to move those around. Of course, we have a lot of the Samsung widgets and applications we've come to see and expect. So you can see we have our Geo News. One of the other things is you have the My Magazine now. So if you scroll all the way to the left to the home screen and go left one more time, there you're presented with the My Magazine. Now to get to the S Voice, you double tap the home button and then you're presented here with your S Voice. So you can set that up and use S Voice. But if you prefer the Google Now, all you have to do, of course, is say OK Google, and it'll let you speak right into it. So I personally prefer the Google Now over the S Voice, but it's nice that you have that option. You can use either or. So that has been my full introductory review of the brand new AT&T Samsung Galaxy S5, and this has been Roger with iGadgetGeek.